You learned Italian in 1 month.
Yeah.
Tell me, it's a clickbait. It's not true.
No, it's kind of true, because basically I started like speaking with Italians in Italian after 1 month of being in Italy. And like before I didn't know Italian at all. But obviously I didn't start like working in Italian after 1 month. Of course, then after that month I continued like practicing, improving, learning more grammar rules, learning more vocab, and then I also like learned professional vocabulary later, and only then I started working in Italian. But yeah, as for like just like talking to the students in my class, to my friends in Italian, yeah, I started after 1 month. I didn't really have a choice. Some
Started
people,
talking
yeah,
after 1 month.
yeah.
Walk me through the whole process of learning at the very, very, very beginning, because a month is ridiculous. And you said, I started speaking.
So basically, how it happened, let me remember. So basically, I started living in the residence, in a student residence, right? And everyone there was speaking Italian. And of course they knew English, but like we would hang out, and at some point they would switch to Italian, and they would like joke in Italian, and I was like so mad. I was like, I want to understand what they're talking about.
You need only gestures, no? But
I know this. I was like, guys. And then basically one day I was like, okay, I'm going to my room. I'm not studying mathematics, economics, or econometrics, anything. I'm studying Italian, because that was like my course, and everyone was like so focused. I was like, no. I need to study Italian. So then I just went on YouTube, and like I found this guy that was who was explaining like basic grammar rules and like basic pronunciation rules in Italian. And I was like, okay, let's watch all of his videos. And I watched like all of his like basic grammar videos, like I think in one day. I was like obsessed. And I was like, okay, cool. Blah blah blah. I learned that, and then I was like, okay, the most important, like the most used colloquial phrases. And then I found that video. I think there were like maybe 2 or 3 of them. I watched them, and then I went to my Italian friends, and I was like, is it true? Do you say that? And then they were like, yeah, and we also say this with this same word, or like with the same structure. And I wrote that down as well. And then I just started like practicing those phrases with them. And then like maybe after like a week, I was like, guys, only speak Italian to me. And they were like, yeah, of course, easy. That's what we actually wanted to do. And basically, then they would say something. I would obviously not understand a lot of words, and I would obviously like have an accent, make mistakes, and so on and so forth. But they were very like nice and supportive. So I was like, oh, guys, what does this mean? And they were like, yeah, this means that, like. And they would like show me things, but they would explain in Italian. So I was like constantly
explaining.
listening.
So they will see a little bit of English, and then
Yeah, they were like, instead of saying a word in English, they would start explaining and showing me in Italian, you know?
Oh, and like as a child.
Exactly. I feel like I learned it a bit like a child would, you know? Yeah.
But it took you a month.
Yeah. Because like, again, every day I was listening to people talking, and every day I was like trying to practice with them.
And surrounded by natives as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
The most surprising thing I've heard.
Also, it's important to mention that I already knew Spanish and French.
Oh, okay. So
that helps, obviously,
important.
because like, French grammar, Spanish vocabulary, mix them, and you kind of understand Italian, like how Italian is structured. Obviously, you can't really understand when people speak Italian everything, but then once you learn the colloquial phrases, once you learn a couple of like most used words and like how to structure your sentences, it becomes easier, obviously.
So they are similar, these languages. I notice people also say, okay, she is a polyglot. Not about you, but about many polyglots I see online. People comment, okay, but she speaks 5 languages, but these 5 languages are Romanian, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, and what was else? And French.
I mean, to me, still a polyglot, because if a person can maintain a conversation, like a deep conversation in those languages, that means they actually like made an effort to speak each of them. Because one thing is to just like understand and know the words, recognize the words in written, and another thing is to be able to
actually reply.
Yeah, exactly.
So for you, fluency would be being able to have deep conversations?
Yes.
What do you mean deep?
I would say so. Like when it's not just like an everyday conversation, not like a small talk, but when you can talk about your feelings, your experiences, when you can have like a, friend to friend conversation kind of thing. Yeah.
What about your parents? Have you ever traveled with them? Because I also have had so many stories of people, and I remember us talking about that you're traveling with your parents and you're only the one who knows the language.
Yeah, obviously.
Did you have any funny, ridiculous stories with that?
It's just like every time we travel, they make me speak to people.
Unpaid translator. Okay.
Exactly. But then the thing is that they know English, for example, and they can communicate themselves. But if we're, say, in Italy and they're like, oh, but you know Italian, so like you have to use your Italian, like show them that you know Italian. I'm like, guys, just speak English, you know?
Yeah. Describe also a situation where maybe speaking badly, because we're actually emphasizing that it doesn't matter if you don't have to speak perfectly. You just have to start speaking because you start somewhere. So maybe walk me through a situation where speaking badly actually helped you with something.
The same was Italian, for example, because when I was starting to learn it, I was really bad. Like, obviously I was making a lot of mistakes, but I feel like the attitude I had was, everybody here knows that I'm not a native speaker, that I'm a foreigner, and that I don't know Italian. So if I say even like something, it will be fine. It will still be some progress. So I was just like, yeah, I don't care. I was like, let's speak.
So you're very chill when it comes to languages.
But it depends, because I feel like at some point when you have expectations from yourself, you can become a bit scared. Like, say, if you used to know a language at a very high level and now you've forgotten a bit, like you might feel a bit self-conscious, you know? But when you're just starting, I feel like I have this thing that I'm like, oh, I'm just starting. Like, I know I'm just starting. I don't have to speak well, you know?
How to deal with the fact that it's good that you touched on that, but that you forgot a language, because you happen to forget languages. If you speak also 7 languages, it's impossible sometimes to maintain all of them every single day. True. And what do you do if you forget? Let's say you just go to Norwegia and you knew Norwegian in the past, you spoke it, let's say at C1, and now probably it's B2 or B1. Would you keep going in Norwegian, or for example, would you switch to English and just won't bother?
So if I actually go there...
Let's say you speak the language you used to speak.
Yeah. So, for example, I go there. I think I will first... I might be scared and I might start in English. But then I think I will make myself switch to the language. And, like, be really bad at it, but still, like, practice it. Yeah. Because otherwise there's kind of no point in going there.
Yeah. I also think every single time before I go to a certain country, I just practice basic sentences just to be able to say hello in the target language that I'm traveling, because what's the point?